Hi everyone and welcome to another edition of Partner Pulse. I'm Jim Parashos, Executive General Manager Aviation here at Brisbane Airport, and today I'm joined by the CEO of Alliance Airlines, Lee Schofield, and one of his new toys, the Embraer E190 that was delivered last week. Lee, tell us a little bit about yourself and Alliance Airlines.
Well, Alliance Airlines is a proudly Brisbane-based company, publicly listed, been around for now 19 years, and we're standing under the wing of one. Our mainstream fleet is all Fokker, so we operate 43 Fokker aircraft across Australia. And as Jim touched on, this is the new one that arrived last week. So for expansion purposes, we've gone and purchased 14 of these and looking forward to those delivering over the next year.
Describe to us Alliance in 3 words.
Well, that's actually pretty good because we have 3 KPIs, which is safety, on-time performance, and financial sustainability. So a few more than 3 words, but if I had to describe us succinctly, that's what we're all about.
Safety, OTP, and
profitability.
Okay.
And I think some people, we don't shy away from that. Some people do. For us, we are a business. We need to make money. Everyone does in aviation and in business. And importantly, during COVID times, that means that all of our staff have ongoing viable employment, and that's fundamental to what we do.
You're more than just an airline, or what people think of an airline. Tell us a little bit more about the business that you operate in.
Yeah, we do call ourselves an aviation services company. I think our most visible thing is flying aircraft, but we also trade in aircraft, spare parts, we manage aerodromes, really any ancillary service to operating our own aircraft, we're happy to play in.
Yep. And tell us a little bit about your relationship with Brisbane Airport, because as you say, your aviation services, you're more than just an aircraft operator. There's a lot of touch points with the Brisbane Airport business. So what's the relationship like, and how are we as partners?
I think, probably everyone knows very well the negatives that have come out of COVID. And I think for us, one of the positives has been our relationship with Brisbane Airport and being able to work together. As you indicated, we have a building here, so we're an operator, we're a lessee, we have a big presence on airport. We have staff that work both sides of the airport and really use the surrounding precinct. So we're really proud that we've continued to operate all through COVID, and it's been a very challenging but ultimately successful period. It's been great to be able to have that presence on Brisbane Airport.
That's fantastic. Lee, you mentioned tough year for everyone. But during that same period of time, you've gone out and ordered 14 aircraft. Tell us a little bit about, and a new fleet type, in fact. So tell us a little bit about your decision to do that, and I suppose also what you see as the COVID recovery and the opportunities.
Yeah, I think the purchase of these 14 aircraft caught a lot of people by surprise, but those who have known the company, it's actually really out of the playbook. So when I wasn't here at Foundation, but when I look at how the company started, starting in 2001, apart from 2020, probably the worst time ever to start an airline, post-September 11, post-Ansett collapse, and the 4 founders founded a remarkable business. Then if you look at Alliance's history, it's always been punctuated by buying large batches of aircraft, usually at the bottom of the aviation cycle when it's compelling buying. So the last one was 2015 when we purchased 21 more Fokker aircraft. We've now redeployed all of those 21, so it was, from our perspective, it was the perfect timing to go and buy these 14 more and the next phase of expansion.
So for those of us that aren't as close to aviation aircraft or aircraft costs, what would one of these have cost brand new, and what roughly, if you could say, would be the purchase price that you would have received?
Yeah, so somewhere a new price with all the usual caveats. Somewhere in the order of $30-40 million US per aircraft. And as we disclosed in our transaction for $79 million, we've managed to buy 14 of them and a whole lot of spare parts, tooling, GSE, and a simulator, which I think is another. People focus a lot on the aircraft, but another great thing for Brisbane Aviation is that we're going to have a E190 simulator here in the town.
Yep. The E190s have been here in Brisbane previously, but point of difference with this one is that it's travelled all the way from Costa Rica, is that right?
Yeah, it came from. We purchased them from Copa, an airline in Panama, and then they've had some had some maintenance in Costa Rica. So the ferry last week originated in Costa Rica over the Pacific.
I've heard they're great aircraft, but they can't fly 14 hours non-stop. So tell us a little bit about their journey across to Brisbane.
Yeah, they can't fly 14 hours. That'd be. They have long legs, a little bit of additional range compared to the Fokker aircraft. We actually, I really believe in partnering with people that have expertise you don't. So we know Australian market and the Pacific to a degree, but ferrying aircraft is not our expertise. So we partnered with an organisation, Southern Cross, who bought the aircraft out here. So they always a complex exercise at the best of times. In a COVID world, incredibly complex. So they basically left Costa Rica into the US mainland, had a stop in Honolulu, and then a stop in Tara, and then in here to Brisbane. Managed to coincide it so that they didn't have to wait long, didn't have to go into quarantine. They actually departed immediately on an international flight back to the US. So a very well executed plan, I think.
Fantastic. That's great to hear. Sounds like the aircraft's probably the only thing that's managed to get on a holiday this year. You mentioned Honolulu and a few other exotic places there. That's fantastic.
Yes.
So other than aircraft purchases, what other opportunities have you identified or capitalised on during COVID? I mean, we talk things down a lot. It's been a really tough year for everyone. Also, year of opportunities. So obviously, aircraft. What other opportunities have you focused on?
Yeah, we've had to. I think we've had to reinvent ourselves a little bit. I think now there's an awareness of the story that ultimately COVID has been a successful period for Alliance, but it wasn't. It's not because we're immune to COVID. No pun intended. We lost nearly 40% of our business when COVID hit, and we've had to reinvent ourselves a little bit. So. Part of that's been just more of what we do very well, which is resources sector and closed charter. But part of it has been bending the model a little bit to do. We traditionally don't do a lot of commercial services, scheduled services. But here out of Brisbane, we've launched to Brisbane to Moranbah. So a few little of those opportunities, very selective opportunities that make the most of our expertise.
Great. And you mentioned the airline was started in 2001.
Yeah.
So next year is your 20th birthday.
It is.
Still pretty young. What do you foresee in 2021? What's the outlook?
I mean, maybe it's wishful thinking, but I'm really hoping that it's a return to some form of normal. I don't think we'll ever get truly to normal. International traffic, I think, will still be soft, but I've been encouraged by the early signs that we're seeing with domestic recovery, and I think that is, that would be good for Alliance. I think it'd be good for all of the industry, really hope that that's where we are, where we get through to 2021 and see that the Australian domestic market has really recovered, and that there are some new opportunities.
Outside of your traditional business, there's also on the public record a possible reformation of the Virgin relationship. Too early to talk about what that may look like?
Yeah, there's been a lot of speculation about that. We've probably been a bit surprised by how it's been reported in the media. So we have done wet leasing for Virgin over the years, but there's been an application filed so we can have a broader discussion. So at this stage, we just have to wait and see if the ACCC approves that and if we can have that discussion.
Great. So before we wrap up, Lee, an odd question. What was your first job and what did you learn from it?
My first job was delivering pizzas. So, it's funny you ask that because I was talking to someone else about it the other day. I think it was actually a fantastic first job. Yeah, dealing with the public, dealing with transport and logistics. I didn't know then that I'd learned some things that have really stayed with me all of my career.
That's fascinating. My first job was making pizzas. So there you go. Something to be said about pizzas and aviation, I think.
There you go.
Lee, fantastic. Thank you for taking the time to catch up, show us your new toy, and we wish you all the best for the rest of this year and 2021.
That's great. Thanks, Jim.
Stuff.